Hey everyone, Mr. Clutch here. Going to go through the SPY and QQQ recap really quickly for Thursday, May 11th. So we'll get right into it. The first thing I noticed on SPY today, and I saw this like before open, and I was looking at it thinking, man, we're in an obvious downtrend all through the pre-market hours, and there's like this perfect flag building back to the 13. And so I'd kind of drawn that out, and I was moseying around, and never, I don't usually like to take that first candle, but man, it was a perfect setup. And so I've noticed this a few times in days past. I might actually go back and look through some of them, but when this perfect setup forms and you can catch that right off the open, it can be a super fast and big move. So you could have caught that one, but the one we did catch in the Discord here on the 2-minute time frame here continues down, it flags back again, you're building your trend line out here. You're kind of waiting. This is where your line is really where this is climbing on. So as this is wicking through and this is wicking through, you're thinking about taking it here. You kind of want to see this breakdown. And so we had this marked in the pre-market. Casey did the 411.35, and so we wicked up through it. One more time. As this starts breaking down, you're pinned right under the 13, you're breaking down, you enter and ride that down. I think they ended up getting 70% out of that. So excellent move there. Then you're just kind of waiting for another flag. This one kind of does. These are hard to, I hate these ones that are this steep. Like, you can play that, you can try to play that if you want, but that usually when you see it come out that hard, you don't want to try to you kind of want to let something, sometimes this will come up and this will come down a little, like go up a little more, and you can get a better angle on it before the breakdown, but this one just didn't give that. So and then this next one here is like an upside down U shape. It's like just up, straight across and down, and yeah, that was hard to play as well because it went up so fast and came down so fast. So then you're kind of watching. You've really based here at like 410. You can't get through to the downside, so you see these big candles up, and you're thinking, okay, well, now what are we thinking here? Because it looks like we're, at that point we'd probably retraced. Yeah, we're past the 50. We're almost to the 618 here. So you're watching this here to see which way it's going to go. Actually, a nice little flag back here that you could have tried to take to the upside, but you're still below that level that was pretty important. So you want to make sure you get through that. And then we just chop, right? We chop between the MAs. The MAs tighten all the way up where they're within 10 cents of each other up here. So one thing I know we were watching the Discord, and it just kept forming and forming here. It was kind of this wedge. I don't know if you could get back to yours better. Kind of here, and I'm trying to see where we had it exactly. Where did we have that? Like kind of like here across here. That's where we had it, like up here. And so there's kind of this rising wedge happening here. I mean, you could kind of, and so we're watching this, and then it just seemed like it wanted to break, and then it finally, and it came down under, and then it kind of went back up to it, back tested, then it was just off and did this little back test here. So there was a definite pattern there that you could have played out of that. A flag here, well, because your EMAs were so tight, it was able to make it all the way back to the 200, but it was still a normal size flag. You could get in right here as it's breaking down from the 13, but again, you're kind of scared about this level because you look how important this level was. We kind of chopped through it here, but it was held to support, came through here, held to support, and so every time you get there, it's more likely you're going to get through. But you could have even waited till you lost that and then expected that we were going to come down a little more. So really, the next thing you could have been looking at is a trend line like this. Get rid of some of this so we can see it coming straight across there. You get up, you got your 200 ahead, but as soon as you start peeking through, you could get a little something there and leave a little meat on the bone. But maybe something there, but you're kind of just scalping at this point. The real move were these two right before the start of the day, and then kind of coming out of that rising wedge. Even though you'd have got chopped up, if you could have ridden it through that, it was a really nice gainer. So yeah, it was one of the days. I think we only took one play. Casey only took one play in the Discord. I only took one play, and it was this one here today. And you kind of just watch the rest of the day to see. So let's look at Qs and see if there's anything different. It had that same thing, pardon me, out of open. But then look at this chop. There's no way you're playing any of this. Maybe as it gets here, you're still under that zone, but you're really trying to get into it. You could come up with some line there that once it pushes out of there and it's above 13, you ride that up. But then it's just chop city. Like this even looks like a flag down, but you know, if you're playing this is why I don't like playing these steep ones, because if you played something like that, it's a quick fake out. You know, you do it again here, it's a quick fake out. As you start getting, you know, out that way maybe a little. Yeah, it's still difficult. Anywhere you go, you're gonna have fake outs here. So Qs, I really didn't even look at Qs hardly today. And I'm glad I didn't, because there was definitely some spots to get faked out. You kind of had something across here, trend line, but yeah, I mean, it's not real clean anywhere, because you got your EMAs here, and you don't want to play something into your 200 right there, especially as much as it held up through here. So then you get the big dip down to this level we had marked here, and then it kind of just climbed back up. And one I did see is right here, and I like playing these a lot, where it like it's going down, it falls, and then it fights back and reclaims through it. And especially this is a really nice look here, looking back in hindsight, that as it pushes through this trend line, it's sitting on the 13. I like taking those plays there. So, and then from there you were kind of just playing out the rest of the day. There wasn't much there. So all in all, a pretty good day, but a lot of ways you could have got chopped up if you're trying to play. Again, like I said yesterday, if you don't zoom out and really look at the bigger picture, and you get really zoomed in on areas like this, you know, and you're thinking, wow, that, you know, you're drawing flags on every one of these. And not that this wasn't a bad flag, that was actually probably a good flag. But you start getting in here where it's really hard to try to figure these, you know, where a flag may be, and you're trying to play rejections. It can get really choppy, and you can get really you can get stopped out quite a bit. So when you start getting into this stuff, a lot of times I like to do is just kind of draw you a line across here where the bottom is and kind of where the top area is, and just don't trade in here. You know, it gets too choppy in there, it makes it hard. If you break out of that and you want to try, you know, like you could here potentially, that'd been a nice little move. And this is where we got out of that zone. That's where, you know, this matters, where we're in this little consolidation area. We break out of it up here, and we're like, now we're using that as support. As soon as that breaks up, you got a nice move there. So anyways, kept it simple today. Hopefully some of this helped in hindsight looking back at it, and we'll try to be back at it tomorrow, and hope everyone has a good Friday to finish the week.